Well, hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of Lean Six Sigma Demystified and the QI Macros. Now, in a recent video, I talked to you about the whole idea of minimally invasive training. How do we teach people in an hour everything they need to know to start solving problems? And so to do that, you have to think about all the advances that we know about in speed learning. So if I'm teaching Lean, what do? First, I tell them a story of how I've used Post-it notes to reduce cycle time by 50, 60, 80, 90% in something. I tell them a true story. That's the first thing. Tell them a story. Then, what do? Well, you say, well, do you have some sort of problem where there's delays in your thing? And they go, yeah. And so then you demonstrate using these tools to create a value stream map or a spaghetti diagram or whatever. And guess what? That's the second repetition. So I demonstrate how to use the tools. Then what do? Well, I give them the tools. And I put a flip chart paper and have them go out around the room and work on building their very first value stream map or spaghetti diagram. And invariably, they learn how, they come up with ideas about how to reduce their cycle time by 50% or more. Invariably. Nurses figure out how to cut travel time in a nursing unit by 50, 70, 80%, which means they can spend more time with patients. So that's the simple thing. So you tell them a story, you demonstrate it, and you have them do it. That's how you do it. I do the same thing with Six Sigma. All right, so I tell them a story about how I helped a company save $1 million, $5 million, $3 million, whatever it is. It depends on what industry I'm in when I'm talking to them, right? And how we use data to analyze and drill down, and focus the improvement. And I show them all the charts. And I usually do it just on a piece of flip chart paper. And so I demonstrate control chart, Pareto chart, fishbone, and then root cause analysis, and then we actually made an improvement. So then what do? Well, I flip over the paper. I said, so what are some common problems that you're facing that you can't seem to fix? And they'll come up with something about defects or deviation or variation. And I say, oh, okay. So if you're thinking about, and I'll draw a control chart, and I'll say, okay, well, on a sheet of paper, so what percent of total defects do you think there are? Right? So I've told them a story, now I'm demonstrating with their problem. Now I'm very loose about this, all right? I don't have to know the exact amount or numbers. I tell them we'll fill that number in later. And so we go out and I kind of draw it and they say, well, our reject rate is 8% or 12% or 3%, whatever it is. And I say, okay, so what do you think is the main cause of that? And so they'll give me the Pareto of what the big problems are. And I say, well, within that big bar on the first Pareto, is there some piece of that that's even more impactful than another? And they'll go, well, yeah, it's probably XYZ, whatever it is, right? And so I'm creating a fishbone, and then, creating the second level Pareto chart, and then off of that, I draw a fishbone. And I say, so now we'd be in a position where we could start asking why, couldn't we? We could do the 5 whys. And they go, okay, so I've told them a story, I've demonstrated, and then I take my advanced training manual, my 3-ring binder here, and I have them start doing it, right? So I just have them test drive doing this on a little sheet of paper, and you can download this off of our website. Now, I can do that in about an hour. And guess what? That becomes the minimally invasive training, and then I can take them straight into improvement. Straight into improvement. And that gets them, the first one, they see an example. Second one, I demonstrate. Third one, they play with it. And then we actually go into actual analysis and root cause analysis on an existing problem that they have. Sometimes I pre-process their data. Sometimes we use their data to turn that into a story. Easy peasy, minimally invasive. And then what happens is they've learned it because I've given them 3 repetitions. It gets it into the marrow of their bones, if you will, and they can start doing it. And then I give them the QI macros and teach them how to use that as we're going along. And guess what? They can Start doing improvement projects that day. I've had people save tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the meeting, in the root cause analysis training and meeting. Or they do it the next week. They implement all the stuff they've figured out, and it happens. So, minimally invasive training, 3 repetitions to embed the learning very quickly in about an hour, and you're going to be massively more productive about creating improvements, moving the business forward, reducing costs, raising profits, productivity, making people happy. That's my improvement insight for this week. Let's go out and improve something.